Never had I seen such a perverted woman. To prevent her husband from cheating, she actually chained him tightly to her side. Not only that, but she also demanded that her husband carry her every day, even to the toilet. This suffocating existence lasted for 7 long years. Only when she fell ill and was bedridden did the man finally breathe a sigh of relief, looking at the chains that had bound him for 7 years. The resentment that had accumulated in the husband's heart for many years was like a volcano about to erupt. He suddenly pulled the chains, and the next second he dragged his seriously ill wife to the ground. He first took out the pills prescribed by the doctor and forced them into his wife's mouth. Then he didn't forget to add some dipping sauce. He dipped some mysterious and unknown powder in the powder and roughly smeared it into the woman's mouth. No one knew what the mysterious powder was, but the man knew that this was the medicine he had longed for, the key to freedom. Just as he was secretly gloating, he glanced at the mirror. His hunchback looked like that of a 70 or 80-year-old. He couldn't accept that he had become like this at such a young age. It was all because of the torment he had endured for the past 7 years. He tried to straighten his back, but the inhuman torture of the past 7 years had already left irreversible damage on him. This sight filled the man with hatred, and the intensity of his hatred made him not want to wait a moment longer. He frantically grabbed the white powder and poured all the medicine into his wife's mouth, perhaps as a final burst of energy before death. His wife suddenly regained consciousness. With a strength she didn't know she possessed, she frantically pulled her husband, wanting him to die with her. The loud noise attracted the servants in the house. However, by the time they rushed over, the woman was already foaming at the mouth and delirious. Before the doctor arrived, she died. Upon hearing the doctor announce his wife's death, the man, contrary to his usual behavior, showed shock and grief, but his exaggerated expression seemed so fake to onlookers. The doctor and servants, however, seemed quite calm. They had long been fed up with their controlling landlady. Seeing that the man's shackles were still on his feet, a servant brought a sharp axe and swung it forcefully, breaking the chains. But at that moment, a strange thing happened. The woman who had been dead suddenly sat up and grabbed the man's arm tightly. The man turned pale at the sudden turn of events. He struggled with all his might to break free, and with the help of others, he finally managed to pull the woman's hand away. However, a blood-red handprint remained on his arm, the woman's curse upon him. With his wife's death, his vast fortune naturally became his. Yet even with this enormous wealth, he still felt it was insufficient to compensate for the physical and mental anguish he had suffered over the past 7 years. Therefore, he harbored evil intentions, wanting to use the woman's corpse to make even more money. The feng shui master said that if the wife was buried in the Qilin cave, the man would surely become extremely wealthy and powerful. However, since ancient times, the Qilin cave has only been used to bury men. If a woman were buried in this cave, her soul would never find peace. But the husband's mind was made up. To prevent Ah Jin's spirit from causing trouble, the feng shui master placed a red cinnabar dot on Ah Jin's forehead. As the veil slowly closed, the man thought he was finally free, unaware that his nightmare was still ongoing. After his wife's burial,